Right lads, man, it's Kebab here, and welcome to the first ever episode of Videogame Versus. This is a series where we pit two games in a similar franchise or genre against each other and decide the winner through 7 distinct rounds. These rounds being story, gameplay, multiplayer, controls, extra features, design, and impact. And today's games are... Great way to start a series. The new Super Mario Bros. Games. Everyone knows these things. All extremely different in design, features, gameplay. Yeah, I was reading the wrong script. Yeah, these games are widely criticised for doing the same thing 4 times in a row, with not much difference between them. But which is the best one? Today we're only going to look at the 2 console versions, New Super Mario Bros. Wii and U. Now of course these games are very similar, but how similar are they? And what differences, advantages and disadvantages exist between them? Well, let's find out as we get this versus started. Mario games have never really been known for their stories, and these games really highlight this. Take a guess how the story of Wii goes. That's right, Bowser kidnaps Peach, but it's her birthday, so that's new. The story of Wii, yeah, we've seen this plenty of times. We battle across 8 different worlds against the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. to rescue Peach, fighting Bowser in the finale, and ultimately defeating him to save Peach. It feels cheap to call it bland, but it's bland. Super Mario Bros. U on the other hand, I mean it's basically the same. But instead of Bowser kidnapping Peach and bringing her to his castle, instead you are evicted from Peach's castle, which Bowser then proceeds to infect with his evilness, turning it into an evil fortress. We still battle the Koopalings, but Boom Boom now replaces them in the smaller castles, and once again, we defeat Bowser. Both of these games have incredibly minimalist stories, but I think I'm gonna have to give this one to you. At least it actually attempts something new with an eviction over a kidnapping. Starting with the Wii version, it's Mario alright. We have 8 worlds to play across here, pretty much the same as the DS version, except in a slightly different order, all of which having unique themes, mechanics and enemies, but we do have series staples like Goombas and Koopa Troopas that are seen across all of them. Our main bosses here are the Koopalings, a wacky bunch of Bowser's misfit minions who are too easy to beat. Toad Houses return from the DS version with mini-games to give you 1-ups and extra items. Speaking of items, of course we have the Mushroom, Fire Flower, Star, and Mini Mushroom, which returns from the DS version, alongside 3 new items, the Ice Flower, Propeller Mushroom, and Penguin Suit. Yeah, there's basically 2 new items. Yeah, for any of you who don't know, the Penguin Suit is basically the Ice Flower, but better in every way, making the Ice Flower basically useless. Star Coins, Red Rings, and P-Blocks all return. Wii is basically the DS version on a console, okay? There's not much extra to it other than that. Oh yeah, Yoshi returns. The world screens are more detailed here than DS, and each include obstacles in the form of these fucking enemies, like the Lectus and Ice Bros, alongside missions to rescue kidnapped Toads. Levels themselves are for the most part fun and unique. This pipe one, big bubbles, and then there's a load of water levels. Yeah, fuck this, onto the Wii U version. Now I played Super Mario Bros. U first, as I played the Wii version as a kid. Going into this game, I was very excited, as it was all new to me. The world is now one combined map, like Super Mario World, and overall, looks great. The same 8 worlds return, which is... yeah, there's no defending that. In terms of enemies, basically all the same ones return from Wii. The Koopalings are back, except this time the smaller castles are occupied by Boom Boom. Boom Boom! No? Okay. Yeah, you fight him too many times for anyone to give a shit. Toad Houses return, this time with worse minigames, and even less items. Every item from Wii returns except the Penguin Suit and Propeller Mushroom, instead being replaced by the Super Acorn and P Acorn, given to us by catching Nabbit, a replacement for the Toad missions. We'll get back to this item shortly. Baby Yoshis are now the big thing here. Grab onto them and they'll grant you one of 3 abilities. Red blows up like a balloon, blue blows bubbles, and yellow lights up dark areas. Can I start complaining now? Mario Bros. Wii wins. Mario Bros. U recycled so many levels from Wii. I'm not even exaggerating when I say it's probably close to half. As I said, I played this game first. But even then, I was getting pissed off playing Wii and realising how many stages U straight up copied. Looking at U after, it was like the look of disappointment you give your dog after it shits on the rug. Remember I mentioned the P-Wing? Yeah, this thing literally allows you to skip entire levels no problem. It makes the game way too easy. Yes, Wii had Super Guide, but that game in general had an acceptable level of difficulty. Wii was in general a more fun and enjoyable game to play for that reason. Wii wins this round. The new Super Mario series is similar to older Mario games, but gives a unique flair by introducing moves from 3D Mario games, like the triple jump. The only new move we have in Wii, however, is the spin jump, which is done by shaking the Wiimote. Some have complained about this feature, but I think it works pretty well as long as you don't go overboard. Playing with the Wiimote here, it feels right. The D-pad is smooth, the buttons are responsive. It feels like you're playing a Mario game, but with a more modern feel. The Wii U on the other hand, yeah, this not so much. I will say it's a lot easier to spin jump as it's now given a button, but I don't know. The thumbstick doesn't work right here and just doesn't feel accurate, and the D-pad just isn't as fluid as the Wiimote. Once again, a point to Wii. Multiplayer Mario Bros. Wii is great. Kinda. Wii was the first 2D Mario game to introduce 4-player multiplayer all at the same time. Just get together 4 friends and play through the entire game as Mario, Luigi, Stupid, and Stupid and Blue. When a player dies, they are put in a bubble which can be popped by another player, which almost always ends in death, and that's pretty much all there is to say here. This works with 2 players. 4 players can be chaotic, but it's still pretty fun. Coin Battle and Free Mode also exist here if you want a more moderated yet competitive experience. Guess what U's multiplayer is like? That's right, the exact same. Now U does add boost mode. This is stupid and adds nothing to the game besides making it even easier than it was before. Even though U technically has more to do, I'm giving this round to Wii again, as it did at first. Now as mentioned previously, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I'm really getting pissed saying that fucking name, has Coin Battle and Free Mode. Fun modes, but the real highlight here is World 9, which allows us to play more levels unlocked by collecting all the star coins in each world. Meanwhile, Wii U has Challenge Mode, it's exactly how it sounds, different challenges like speedruns and don't touch the ground, Boost Mode in which every coin you get makes the level move faster, and Coin Battle, which is the same as in Wii. When you complete the game, a secret records room also opens, alongside Superstar Road, this game's World 9. Now some people may bring up Super Luigi Bros. U, as it was DLC for this game. However, due to the fact it was also sold separately, I'm not going to include it. However, even without that, I still believe Mario Bros. U takes the win here. Now unfortunately for Wii, it falls flat on its face in this regard. The game's presentation is best described as DS, but in 480p. Sure, it shines in some regards, but overall, it's pretty bland and uninteresting. U actually tries to innovate in this department, with the game at least trying to give off a fresh look. Disregarding the fact that this game is in HD, it still looks more interesting and colourful. The acorn-filled trees in the plains, the stone heads in World 2, and we can't forget this absolute beauty of a stage. Even though it does rip off a lot of these levels from Wii, U still takes the edge in the design department. Wii was highly regarded upon release. It was the first 2D Mario platformer on a console in nearly 20 years, the last being Super Mario World on the SNES. It isn't as highly regarded as its DS counterpart, but it's still hailed as a modern classic, and as one of the best selling games of all time. Wii U. Yeah, this thing released on Nintendo's worst selling console, had an overall reception of who cares, and was the last in a series of games that everyone was sick of by 2012. Yeah, it wasn't received awfully well. And that was the final round, leaving the score at 4-3 to Wii. And with that, Wii wins. And that bugs me. So yes, Wii is a lot more fun and overall the superior game. U had the potential to be great. A lot of these levels look amazing. It implements some interesting features, but clearly after 4 years, the designers had truly given up on innovation. And instead of actually making this a good game, they spent their time making it look like a good game with its fancy appearance. Don't get me wrong, Wii is a modern classic, and it deserves all the praise it gets. But part of me was rooting for this game, hoping by some metric it could outdo Wii. But instead it just leaves you with the same feeling you get when you hear your friend step with your cousin. Not angry, just disappointed. And with that, we finished the pilot episode of Versus. Tune in next week when we pit overhated versus underrated. Have a good one, lads.